All right, everybody. This is a video that's going to be going through our first PowerPoint on genetics. Let me just project this. All right, so the human genome. All right, so genome means anything that is genetic material within you. All right, let's look at the standards first. All right, so students will be required to distinguish between observed inheritance patterns caused by several types of genetic traits, either dominant, recessive, incomplete dominance, codominance, sex-linked, polygenetic, and multiple alleles. Right? Hopefully some of that vocab was familiar, like dominant and recessive. We'll touch upon everything else. 3.5 reads, describe how Mendel's law of segregation and independent assortment can be observed through patterns of inheritance, such as dihybrid crosses. We're going to get into that 3.5 material more in the next PowerPoint. We're just going to start with the basics of genetics for this PowerPoint video. Okay, so let's move on. All right, so human heredity. So when we were talking about cellular division, we were talking about what's a diploid and haploid number in a cell. Diploid numbers showed the full amount of genetic material. So for humans, that's that 46 chromosomes. And haploid would be half of the genetic material, and so that would be 23 chromosomes. In total, all of the humans' chromosomes put together, we can call that a karyotype. Less commonly used vocab word, but that's what that is. In this line here, where it says each with a homologous one. So up here in this graphic, you can see numbers 1, 2, and 3. And above each number, there are 2 strands of DNA. All right, so these are called homologous pairs. All right, so you can imagine that all of these could be stuck together, making that X. That's how we normally draw them. So we have 23 chromosome numbers, and we have 2 pairs of each. So that's how we get to that happy number of 46. And just to review, the first 22 chromosomes, those are considered autosomes. Auto prefix, it means self, right? So those are your body cells, all right? Anything that is not your sex cells, right? And those are the production of egg and sperm. Right. These chromosomes come from a female. Oh, so that's this chart here. Seeing as there's 2 homologous pairs over the X chromosome, this person's genome would say XX for their sex chromosome. So that would be a female. Males would be XY. All right, so males and females have the same chromosomes except for the last pair. All right, so once again, those first 22, we all have those same chromosomes as far as what they are coding for. We each have different genomes, and that's why we all look different. Once again, males are XY, females are XX. Males that produce sperm can carry either X or Y. So because we have 2 different homologous pairs here, when we split that chromosome up in 2, males can either pass their X or their Y when they're making their gametes. Females, they only have X's, so they can only pass X's. So eggs are said to be 22X, and sperm can be either 22X or 22Y. Right? Say you put an egg, which is 22X, and a sperm that is 22X together, you will get something that is 44XX. All right, and that is considered a full genome. All right, we're going to see a Punnett square soon. So at fertilization, when that sperm and egg meet up in some happy way, the nuclei of the sperm and the egg fuse, and then they form a zygote or a fertilized egg. And again, this is that 44XX for a female, or a 44XY if it was a male. And that diploid number just came back. That means that once you have 2 gametes merging in fertilization, you are now creating a diploid zygote. Right? 50% of all zygotes are XX or XY, and then we'll see that in a Punnett square right here. Right? So a male XY, female XX, you separate each of their chromosomes onto the separate planes of this Punnett square. And just to talk about how to complete this again, you would take this X and put it down in each of these boxes going down. Same thing with the Y, you would bring it going down. All right, and then this X you bring across, this X you would bring across, and then your 4 possibilities for offspring are shown in the Punnett square. So you have a 50% chance of being XX or female, or a 50% chance of being XY. All right. So it's actually the male that determines the sex of the offspring in the mating pair. So whoever that old English ruler was that whom killed his wives because she kept on producing females, it wasn't her fault. So it was his fault. All right. So move on. All right, so human traits specifically. All right, so a person's complete set of genetic information is called the human genome. All right, we said that in the first slide. So anything that's genetic in you is part of your genome. All right, some of the first genes to be identified were blood type. Back in the day, before modern medicine was advanced as it is, one of the first speed bumps that we hit was people who were sick needing blood transfusions. And we figured out very quickly that you couldn't just put anybody's blood into another body because some people wouldn't be able to handle it. And that made us create this blood typing system. So we can be either blood type A, B, AB, or O. And this is all genetically based. Your blood type as the student comes from the mix of your parents' blood type. So your mom and your dad's blood type, based off of what was genetically passed, created your blood type, right? So over here, let's just, well, we'll continue. So what do you think this arrow is going to be? I don't know. You can fill in the blank, or I'm just going to tell you. This is your phenotype. All right. This is what you actually see physically. So what you physically see, that would start with a P. That's your phenotype. All right. You're not going to see someone's blood type. Blood just looks like blood. And it's just a way to remember it. All right. But that is very different than your genotype. Your genotype is anything that genetically codes. All right. So if you have alleles, AA or AO, you will be blood type A or AO. All right. B, all right, you'll be blood type B, AB, and so on and so forth. This is essentially like a big Punnett square. The next PowerPoint video, we're going to go into how blood type gets a little hairy. It gets a little complicated, but I'll explain it later. Just reading through the slide, as human genes have been studied, it has been found that many human genetic disorders are the result of normally functioning genes that have mutated. So back when we were talking about cancerous cells and we talked about mutagens, there are a lot of substances that humans interact with voluntarily. Again, voluntarily means you don't need to. Humans choose to come into contact with these things, and they will actually on a minor scale, mutate your DNA. But we're going to learn that even if one of your DNA nucleotides is mutated, it can have a huge effect on your well-being and what you physically look like. The second bullet point reads, if a person inherits 2 of these affected alleles and the developed disease or disorder. So again, you have 2 strands of DNA coding for the same thing. And sorry, my dad just said bye. For this reason, many genetic disorders are caused by recessive alleles. So recessive traits are more towards things that you need 2 of those to be present for them to show up, versus if you have 1 dominant and 1 recessive, the dominant trait is the one that persists, or actually just shows up. All right, so that's it for this PowerPoint. Sorry for that possibly jumbled explanation. But yeah, just rolling with the punches as we go, guys. Email me if you have any questions. All right. All right. Best of luck. I'll be posting a assignment soon. Awesome. All right. Bye.